Put your hand on your lower back right now. Feel that layer of softness just above the hips, the place most people squeeze with frustration, the place no amount of exercise seems to reach first. That is not a failure, that is a fuel tank. And the reason it is exactly there, in that precise location, was decided not by your lifestyle or your diet, but by 2 million years of human survival. Your body is not storing fat randomly. Every depot, your lower back, your gluteal muscles, your inner thighs, your abdominal belt, sits in a location that made the difference between a prehistoric human making it through a hunt and one who did not. The science that explains where your fat goes is the same science that kept your ancestors alive for 2 million years. And today, you are going to understand all of it. The disclaimer first, this video is educational. Nothing here is medical advice. Research in this field uses the word suggests a great deal, and so will I. What the science suggests is remarkable enough on its own. No exaggeration required. Homo erectus first appeared on Earth roughly 1.8 million years ago. They were persistence hunters. They did not outrun their prey, they outlasted it. A group of erectus hunters would track an animal across open savannah for hours, sometimes most of a day, keeping it moving at a pace that prevented it from cooling down until it collapsed from heat exhaustion. Their bodies needed to sustain that effort without food. Hours of continuous movement, no guarantee of a meal at the end. In that environment, fat was not a problem to be solved. It was the solution. Fat yields 9 calories per gram, more than twice what carbohydrate delivers. A well-positioned fat depot was portable energy, weatherproofing, and a buffer against starvation all at once. The question was not whether to store fat, the question was where, and that question was answered by the demands of the hunt itself. Research published in the Journal of Experimental Biology, examining the evolution of human body fatness, found that fat distribution in our species reflects a precise trade-off between energy reserve placement that enables sustained movement and the metabolic cost of carrying that reserve. Your body did not store fat where you wanted it. It stored fat where the biology of survival required it. There are 4 primary fat depot sites in the human body, and each one maps onto a specific survival demand your ancestors faced. We are going to go through all 4 of them. By the time we are done, you will understand why your body stores fat the way it does, and what you can do with that knowledge today. The fat around your midsection and lower back is the fastest mobilizing fat in your body. Research published in the Annals of Medicine found that omental and visceral fat, the fat nearest your core, has a significantly higher rate of lipolysis than fat stored in the lower body. Lipolysis is the process by which your body breaks stored fat back down into free fatty acids and releases them into the bloodstream as fuel. The closer to the core, the faster the release. For a persistence hunter running for 6 hours, that speed of access mattered enormously. The body prioritizes the depots it can convert fastest when sustained effort is underway. Your lower back and abdominal fat is your body's rapid deployment energy store, the tank closest to the engine. When you feel that area as the place you want to change most, your biology is telling you it has been used exactly as designed, filled fast, drawn down fast. A 2023 study published in PMC examining fat mobilization under fasted exercise conditions found that preferential lipid mobilization in response to fasting was observed in the more internally located visceral fat first. Your body runs the same mobilization sequence your ancestors ran. Faster window, move under those conditions, and the core depot releases before anything else does. That sequence was not designed for a gym program. It was designed for a hunt. Here is what this means for you today. If you want your body to access the lower back and abdominal depot, the conditions that trigger it are not random. Research suggests a combination of sustained low to moderate movement and a fasting window of 14 hours or more creates the metabolic state your ancestors entered before a hunt. Tonight, stop eating 3 hours before bed. Tomorrow morning, move before you eat. 30 minutes of walking is enough. Most people who do this consistently for 2 weeks notice their lower back changes first. That is not a coincidence. That is biology running the oldest program it has. The gluteal and femoral fat depots, your buttocks and upper thighs, are the opposite of the abdominal store. Research published in the Annals of Medicine confirms that the rate of lipolysis in the subcutaneous femoral and gluteal region is the lowest of any major fat depot in the body. This fat releases slowly, deliberately. It does not flood the bloodstream when you exercise. It trickles. That was not a design flaw. The gluteal and femoral fat depots were designed for sustained, slow-release energy across days and weeks, not hours. For a hunter-gatherer group that might go 2 or 3 days between large kills, that slow trickle of fuel kept the body running at a maintenance level without depleting the critical fast-access core reserves. The lower body store is your long-distance tank. In women, this depot serves an additional purpose that is remarkable in its precision. Research published in OCL examining the evolution of the human brain found that DHA, the long-chain omega-3 fatty acid critical for fetal and neonatal brain development, is preferentially stored in the gluteofemoral fat region during reproductive years. This is not general fat. This is a targeted reserve. Research on maternal dietary lipids from the Proceedings of the Nutrition Society confirms that maternal DHA transfers directly into breast milk and drives infant cognitive development. The lower body in women stores the building blocks of the human brain. Venus figurines carved between 25,000 and 35,000 years ago show pronounced gluteal and thigh fat in every culture that produced them. Research published in PMC examining Paleolithic figurines found pronounced lower body adiposity in the majority of female representations across Europe and Asia. These were not artistic exaggerations. They were records of a body blueprint that signaled survival, fertility, and the capacity to carry a child's brain development through gestation and lactation. Your lower body fat is not cosmetically inconvenient. It is a biological archive. Intramuscular fat, fat stored directly inside the muscle fibers themselves, is the most strategically placed fuel source in your body. Research on intramuscular fat and endurance confirms that intramuscular triglycerides are stored in lipid droplets sitting in direct proximity to the mitochondria, the structures inside your cells that convert fuel to energy. The distance between storage and conversion is almost zero. This fat does not need to travel through the bloodstream. It oxidizes on-site, inside the working muscle, during sustained submaximal effort. For a persistence hunter, this was critical. Persistence hunting involves hours of sustained aerobic effort at a pace that could not be fueled by glycogen alone. Glycogen, the sugar your body stores in the liver and muscles, provides only around 1,500 to 3,000 calories in total. At a sustained tracking pace across 6 hours, that is not enough. Intramuscular fat bridged the gap. It burns cleanly, locally, at exactly the output level required for endurance movement. Not sprinting, not rest, but the sustained, purposeful movement of a body that has a long way to go. The thrifty gene hypothesis, proposed by geneticist James Neal in 1962, offered the first scientific framework for understanding why fat storage is so aggressive in the human body. Neal wrote that for the first 99% of human existence, life was structured around feast and famine cycles, periods of successful hunting followed by periods of scarcity. The bodies that stored fuel efficiently during the feast phase were the ones that survived the famine phase. That drive to store is not greed. It is the deepest survival instruction your genome carries. Research on the Hadza people of Tanzania, one of the last true hunter-gatherer populations studied in depth, gives us direct evidence of what this body blueprint looks like in its native context. Research published in PLOS 1 found that adult Hadza men had a body fat percentage of approximately 8.6%, while Hadza women averaged 24.2%. Both values reflect the precise depot distribution the human body was built around: lean enough to hunt, stored enough to survive. Those numbers are not aspirational targets. They are what the body produces when given the conditions it was designed for. If you want to go deeper on the eating window and fat mobilization sequence we just covered, the timing, the food types, the ancestral nutrition structure behind all of it, I have written a 28-day guide that takes you through it day by day. It is linked in the description below. But first, the part that changes how you think about your own body permanently. You are Homo erectus. The sun is not yet fully up. You have not eaten since the carcass 2 days ago. The meat shared across 14 members of the group. Bones cracked for marrow. Nothing left. You are not weak. You are not depleted. You are running exactly the fuel system that kept your lineage alive for 2 million years. Your lower back and abdominal reserves are at partial draw. Your lower body stores are intact. Your muscles carry their own internal supply, ready to sustain the pace you are about to set. You begin moving, not sprinting. There is no prey in sight yet. You move at the pace your body has learned to sustain, a walking pace that burns predominantly fat, not glucose. Your intramuscular triglycerides are already oxidizing quietly inside your leg muscles. Your core fat is beginning to release. Your body is doing exactly what it was built for, moving efficiently on stored fuel without food for as long as it needs to. 3 hours in, you pick up a trail. The group spreads out, reading the ground with the spatial memory your hippocampus has been building since childhood. Your core reserves have been releasing steadily. Your pace increases. The body responds not with fatigue, but with a shift. A clean metabolic gear change from walking pace fat oxidation to something slightly faster. Your blood carries free fatty acids from your abdominal depot. Your muscles carry their own. You have 2 fuel systems running simultaneously, neither one depleted. 6 hours after you started, the prey goes down. Your glycogen stores are at their lower limit. Your core fat has dropped. Your lower body reserves are barely touched. They were never the primary fuel for today's work. They are the reserve for the lean days between hunts. The body knew the difference. It always does. That evening, the group eats. Your body shifts immediately into storage mode, the thrifty gene response Neil described. The fat from the meal begins refilling the depots in priority order. Core reserves first, because they were drawn down furthest. Lower body stores second, because they are the long-term buffer. The body is preparing for the next hunt, the next gap, the next demand. It does not know you live in a world where food is available every 2 hours. It is running the same program it has always run. And now look at your own body. The fat on your lower back and abdomen exists in exactly the locations prehistoric hunters needed fast access energy during a chase. The fat on your lower body exists in exactly the locations your ancestors needed slow-release fuel for the days between hunts, and the locations that sustained the development of your brain across pregnancy and lactation. None of it is in the wrong place. It is all in the right place. The question is simply whether you are giving your body the conditions that let it cycle through those stores the way it was designed to. The modern problem is not that your body stores fat. The modern problem is that the storage signal fires constantly and the depletion signal almost never does. You are designed to fill fast and draw down hard. You are living in a world that only offers the fill. Research on hunter-gatherer energetics published in PLOS 1 found that adult Hadza men carry roughly 8.6% body fat, while modern Western men average considerably more. The difference is not genetic. The Hadza body and the modern body carry the same blueprint. The difference is that the Hadza body cycles through its fat depots repeatedly every week. The modern body fills them and rarely draws them down to the level the biology requires. The 4 things your fat storage system was designed around are still the 4 things that move it today. Movement before food. Before your first meal, your body is primed to oxidize fat. A fasting window of 14 hours or more, research suggests this is when the core visceral depot releases most readily. Variable effort, short bursts within sustained movement, and sustained low-level activity across most of the day. The Hadza walk 8 to 15 miles daily, and their fat mobilization happens continuously, not in a single gym session. Here is the state before, the reason why, the action, and the expected result for each depot. If your core and lower back fat is not shifting, your body is not reaching the metabolic state that triggers its release. The reason is that this depot requires fasting plus movement to open. The action is simple, a 14-hour fast ending with 30 minutes of walking before your first meal. Do this 5 mornings this week. Most people notice early changes in the abdominal region within 2 to 3 weeks because this depot releases fastest when the right conditions are met. If your lower body fat is not shifting, a different understanding is needed. This depot has the lowest lipolysis rate in the body. It is designed to release slowly across weeks. Research confirms it. The action here is not more effort, but longer consistency. Sustained movement 5 or more days per week over a minimum of 6 weeks. Do not expect weekly feedback from this depot. Expect monthly feedback. Your lower body fat is the long-distance tank. It depletes on a long-distance timeline. That is not a failure of your willpower. It is an accurate reflection of 2 million years of biological design. Let us bring this all the way back to your lower back. The softness you felt at the beginning of this video is sitting in exactly the same location your Homo erectus ancestor needed rapid access energy reserves for a 6-hour persistence hunt. It is the right fat in the right place, waiting for the right conditions. Your job is not to hate it. Your job is to give it the conditions it was built to respond to. 4 things to do this week, starting today. Stop eating 3 hours before bed tonight. Tomorrow morning, before you eat anything, walk for 30 minutes. Not fast, just moving. Do that 5 mornings this week. You are not exercising. You are replicating the pre-hunt metabolic condition that tells your core fat reserves to begin releasing. 1 week will not undo years, but your body will respond to these conditions faster than you expect, because it has been waiting for them. The research behind everything covered here draws from published work in the Journal of Experimental Biology, the Annals of Medicine, PMC, OCL, the Proceedings of the Nutrition Society, and PLOS 1. What has been missing is someone presenting it in a way that connects directly to what your own body is doing right now. That is what this channel exists to do. Your fat depots are not an aesthetic problem. They are a survival architecture that kept your lineage alive through 2 million years of famine, predator pressure, and long hunts. The 4 depots we covered, core rapid deploy, gluteofemoral slow reserve, intramuscular on-site fuel, and the DHA reserve in women, each mapped onto a precise demand your ancestors faced. Each one still maps onto a demand your biology makes today. The body has not changed, the conditions have. Everything in this video connects to a bigger picture. 11 things your prehistoric body still needs every day that most people have never been told about. That video is on this channel. It is the one to watch next. Next on this channel, what Homo habilis did 2.3 million years ago that permanently rewired your hand, and why the motor cortex territory your hand commands today is the direct inheritance of a stone knapping skill your ancestors practiced for 700,000 years. That video will change how you look at your own hands. Your body remembers everything. 2 million years of survival, encoded in the exact locations where your fat sits right now. Every depot has a reason. Every reason has a solution. Come back to this channel tomorrow and learn something else your body has been waiting for you to understand. Extended visual passages, scenes 44 to 50. The persistence hunt is the longest athletic event in human history. Hours of sustained movement at a pace that prioritizes fat oxidation over glucose. No pre-hunt meal, no recovery drink. Just the body's own fat depots in exactly the locations they needed to be, doing exactly what they were designed for. Every time you feel your lower back in your hand, you are touching 2 million years. Not failure. History. A survival system that outlasted every competitor, every ice age, every famine your ancestors faced. It is not your enemy. It is waiting for you to give it the right conditions. The fat map of the human body is one of the most elegant biological designs in the natural world. Each depot in a different location. Each location serving a different timeline. Each timeline mapped to a different survival demand. The body did not store fat carelessly. It stored fat with a precision that took 2 million years to refine. You carry that precision right now, in the exact location of every depot on your body. The science is not abstract. It is sitting in your lower back, in your thighs, in the muscles you use to get to wherever you are watching this. This is not information about ancient humans. It is information about you. The body at its best is not lean through restriction. It is lean through use. The Hadza are lean because their bodies cycle through their fat depots every week, week after week, year after year. They do not count calories. They move the way the body was designed to move, eat the way it was designed to eat, and the fat depots respond exactly as designed. That is available to you too, not all at once, but one condition at a time. Start with the one thing your body is waiting for. Move before you eat, not for an hour, not intensely. 30 minutes of walking in the fasted state before your first meal. That single change replicates the pre-hunt condition your body was built around. Everything else, the depot sequence, the fasting window, the sustained daily movement, builds from that one starting point. Your body never left the Stone Age. It adapted and migrated and learned fire and language and agriculture and cities. But the fat depots on your lower back and your thighs and inside your muscles, they are still running the program that kept your ancestors alive 2 million years ago. That is not a problem. That is where your power is. Use it.